Okay, so I've distributed a copy of the FFA members showing case study, and everybody here has had a chance to read it. And so we're going to talk about the questions that appear on the back of the page. And so what do you think? It's a sad story, right? Kind of a sad story. It's kind of a common story. Actually, I saw this story happen first, and I thought, wow, that's phenomenal. And then I saw it happen 14 more times. Still phenomenal, but I didn't realize it was going to happen so often. It's a bad situation for those kids to be in. Anyhow, you're going to be an ag teacher soon. You probably, it'll be a miracle if you don't have this exact same situation. We're at the point now where in a lot of our programs we see a lot of leaders that are female. That's great. I think, what's our national stats on membership, female membership? It's very high. I mean, it's a lot higher than it used to be, and our stats on female leadership is like 80% female across the country. Our stats on female membership is somewhere approaching 50%, and actually our stats on new teachers that are female is somewhere around 55%. Not the case in this room, obviously, but on a national level, we're seeing more and more and more females, and so at a local level, we're seeing the same thing. And as you're going to have girls in leadership, this is very possible. It could happen. Carrie, actually, a student I had named Carrie. She wasn't the one that ended up pregnant. Changed the name to protect the innocent. Carrie, in your class, if she comes up and this happens to you, is she going to compete on the livestock judging team?
Yeah.
Yeah, unless it endangers her safety.
All right, so why do you say yes, and why does you say maybe no? Jeremy says maybe no, right?
No, I said I will unless it's endangering her safety. I mean,
Well, it could,
she's
right?
pregnant. I mean, if that's, of course, you mean she's going to ask the doctor if she's this involved. If she got a high scoring individual, she's like, can I compete? If he says no, sorry.
So you'd leave that decision to the doctor. I got you.
I'd say yes, because it said that her meal is always professional, everything around the FA. So, in other words, this happened, didn't have nothing to do with the school.
Yeah.
Everybody makes mistakes.
Yeah.
And I think you better.
Nobody says no?
I say no.
All right, Cody says no. Why you say no, Cody?
You have to hold your leaders to it. That's not their school. That's not their education. The FFA is separate from their education. So yeah, you can't kick them out of your class, but they're not a leader on your FFA team.
Represent you. Yeah, I mean, you have to think about, let me step out of character here for just a second. I'm not trying to advocate one side or the other, but good leading a case study, you have to be able to pull the other side along if it gets a little bit behind. So anyhow, let me step back in. And also a good thing about a case study is your students don't really know what side you're on. They start arguing against you. I don't want that to happen around here today. But anyhow, so step back in. Yeah, you're right. So what you got to think about, what's it going to look like whenever we go to the state CDE and everybody else has on the blue corduroy and hers won't meet because her belly's sticking out like this. And everybody sees, this is Jordan's FFA chapter here from, what's the name of that place you're from? Arab, Alabama. And this is what you brought. I mean, you bring this pregnant girl, what's going on? What do y'all do up there? Ain't you worried about what they'll say, about what other people say? How about that? How about if you run into a school board member at McDonald's whenever you're heading out to the state livestock judging, and who you've got with you is this big belly down pregnant girl right here, and the school board member pulls you over the side and says, "So I don't know what you're doing here, but this is not what we're trying to represent with this FFA chapter, and you're sending it here to the state competition, and this is maybe a form of you showing your approval for what's going on here." What do you say back? I mean, Clint?
What I say is that she's worked hard to earn her position on the team, and the team is a career development event, so this is developing her future, which is past school. So I would say let her do it, because that's her future. She's already missed it once, you can't cut her down again.
I say she can't be a captain, though.
I mean, but like Cody said, you're gonna not let her go because she's pregnant. I mean, if the guy say he played football coach ain't gonna bench him because he got her pregnant. I mean, you can't tell nothing, but it should be a two-way street. That's not gonna.
Yeah, that's kind of the question number two. Ben was the father of this baby. He's on the team too. Is he going to get to compete?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. What about it, Cody?
Absolutely not.
Thank you for sticking with your standard there. Yeah, but that happens pretty often, right? I mean, that happens pretty often where maybe the person who that is
The
most
girl can
obvious.
play, but the guy can't play.
Yeah,
Seen that happen.
You gotta be both with both, whatever decision you make one,
yeah,
you gotta stick with both of them at the same.
I agree. That's gonna
It
say a
happens
lot
so
for
much
you.
in these schools today, though. I mean,
Yeah.
how can
And this is kind of a very defined situation. I'm not asking you, and don't get me wrong, I'm not trying to advocate anything here with this. This is a case study, so it just gives us something to discuss. But if you're gonna say, you know, Ben can't compete on a livestock judging team, what are you gonna say when Ben says, I'm not the daddy? Look, I thought she was just as good a girl as you thought she was. Dude, she turned out pregnant. And so, you know, what are you gonna say? Well, we're gonna have to go on Maury to see if you really. No?
the results are in?
Yeah, sorry.
One.
Who the baby daddy is. And so, no, you're probably not gonna do that. All you can do is take the word, I guess. So I don't go trying to get to the bottom of something like that. Just don't. don't even ask like 4 people. Ask him, you know, this is what this girl said. Is this true? He says it's not true. That's all you got, okay?
This instance is where you would pass it off and put it on the principal's shoulders. Do you think this represents our school or what?
Alex has come up with an enormously wise suggestion. And so he says, here's what I do. I go to my administrator and I say, okay, building principal, what do I do? What do I do?
And whatever they say is what you tell that board member. Well, such and such told me, you know, this was good, this was okay.
See why.
That's all I have to tell you.
And really, I mean, that's what they get paid for, right? I mean, they're
Yeah.
administrators. They make decisions like that. And so you go, and then, all right, so here we go, Blake. We go to the principal, and the principal says, no, you're not taking her. Then, or what if the principal says, Blake, you're the teacher. You make this decision, but I'm telling you, I wouldn't do it.
Then we ain't gonna do it.
It don't matter about Carrie's future at that point. Huh, does that all go down the toilet, Clint?
He boss.
He's your boss. Yeah, that's right. That's a healthy way of thinking, it really is.
You said it right though.
What's that?
If you got tenure, you make the decision.
Well, they ain't tenure no more.
We got no tenure no more?
I mean, it's pretty much, I mean, they say reduction in force, they ain't gotta give you a reason, like I say, reduction in force.
Yeah. Well, I mean, they have to
Oh, you
justify
just-
things that.
It doesn't matter anything. You just put it off on the principal. That's all you have to do. The whole situation is resolved.
You gotta
But
think,
he
you
can throw
gotta,
it
you
right
gotta
back on
think,
your shoulders.
you gotta think about things
Huh?
like
He can
that.
throw it right back at you though.
He can if you tell him. I mean, if you have proof that, hey, this is what he told me, you know, I'm only doing what my boss
Well,
is saying.
and think about this too. This is easy for us to talk about because we don't know Carrie, but by the time you get that point with that kid.
Yeah, you know that kid, and so you built a
Well,
relationship, and you know, you saying she's from a bad place, okay, she's screwed up, she's
Yeah.
messed her whole life up. So
This might be just like the end, you know.
Yeah,
You're
I mean-
picking her out.
you're trying to help this kid, that's what we're there for, you know, to do, especially FFA. You know, we're more there for the kids and the educational aspect of it at that point, so I think you gotta make a judgment call, you know.
That's right. And so I think maybe think about this at the end. Could this affect you as a teacher and as a community leader? Sure it could. Sure it
I
could.
say no, because you didn't get the girl pregnant.
It don't matter if you got her
Don't
pregnant.
matter.
That's gonna affect you as a community member because you might be living in a little cell downtown. But as a community member, there's gonna be people one way or the other. First of all, this is a bad situation. There's no super win-win situation here. It's figuring out what to do
Have
is
those people
best.
be like,
I think for this kid, what you can do is best for the kid without losing your job. But you gotta think about, first of all, either I throw this kid away, or I do something that is gonna at least tarnish maybe my reputation as a teacher and as a community leader. But maybe you have to think about this too. Does that matter enough? You know, does that matter enough? I mean, and I hate to say it this way because it looks like I'm saying you should do one thing or another, but does this kid matter more than me tarnishing my reputation as a teacher and a school leader? And sometimes it might. I mean, sometimes I just say point blank, it does matter more. Sometimes, you know, it depends on what it is. If you really feel like that maybe this kid, you know, is their last chance, then maybe it's worth taking one on the chin. You know, John said if you got tenure, then maybe you do something. Your principal says that, hey, I wouldn't do that, but it will affect you, right? Yeah.
And it's not to be a professional reaction to, say, the school board member asks you, you know, why are you doing this for this girl? Say, well, what if this was your niece or your daughter? Would you want me to, she has this aspiring future, you're so proud of her for accomplishing all this, and then this, would you just kick her off?
Yeah.
Or what about another thing, what if she just got pregnant and wasn't 5 months pregnant? Nobody's gonna be able to notice then.
Yeah.
So I mean, that takes the whole visual aspect out of it.
Yeah, and then you just say, I wish I didn't know about this.
That's when you play.
And that's when it is better not to know. You know, there's some problems with being a little, your students questioning you too much. They'll tell you when you don't want to know. Sometimes I'll say, stop right there. I don't want to know any more about that right there. So anyhow, there's not a clear-cut right answer to this. It's about thinking. It's about thinking these things through. Now, if I was coming up with, and we do need to come up with some workable solution at the end of it, but what's a workable solution? I think what Alex is saying is part of the workable solution. I think what Blake is saying is, I think that it involves communication. I mean, this is what we're hearing coming out of here. You gotta talk to the kid. You might need to talk to the parents. You need to talk to this Mr. Arnett that she's working for. You need to talk to your administrator. And if you can, sit down together and see if you can figure out, you know, what's gonna be acceptable and how we're gonna back each other on this and how we're gonna make this happen for the better of this student, and instead of just coming up with a one-size-fits-all type of a policy.
I think you should also ask like other team members.
Yeah,
Yeah,
sure.
Well, I just think it's,
I think that's an issue, like bringing in that guy and bringing in the team members. I mean, there's gotta be some kind of basic confidentiality there. You can't just go out talking about it.
Well, I agree, but if she is showing, then it's, you know, it's pretty much,
You know,
at this point, the cat's out of the bag. She is pregnant, you know, so.
It should be up to,
freshman to
at the end of at the end of the day, you just gotta be, you know, you gotta be able to know that you're happy with your own decision. You gotta be able to sleep at night.
And I think the hard and fast rule is that there's no hard and fast rules. It's an individual decision on a lot of things like this. You know,
Stick to your gun.
you gotta determine, you're dealing with people.